If there was one class of cars that I liked more than any other, it would be big Grand Touring coupes. 2 doors, huge, power, mediocre handling, but in second place would be sports sedans. And everyone knows that the best sports sedan is the ultimate driving machine. BMW's made quite a few good cars over the year. The E30 is especially popular right now among the retro modding group, and the E36 M3 continues to be the darling of track day beaters. But I think BMW was at its absolute peak with this, the E46 330i. But Jake, you're probably asking, what about the E46 M3? And yeah, well, what about it? It's faster, yes, but also a lot more expensive on the used market today, with nice ones ranging from $15,000 to $20,000 and up. And it's a bit of a maintenance nightmare, to be honest. The S54 is not exactly known for a worry-free ownership experience. The E46 also represents the end of an era, the end of what I consider to be BMW actually making ultimate driving machines, which would be driver-focused cars that are thoroughly about the driving experience, not so much numbers or anything objective, but just making you feel good when you drive it, and being expensive because they're quality, not expensive because they have a whole bunch of features and doodads. It was around 2005, 2006 era when the E46 ended that cars as a whole just sort of changed, especially luxury ones. Mercedes, BMW, they all stopped making these heirloom quality flagships and started kind of cheapening themselves, instead going for looking good on a brochure and working good for the duration of the warranty. Beyond that, nah. The E46 strikes a really good balance, not just front to rear weight distribution, but also price on the used market to performance to reliability. And even beyond all that, just look at it. If the word sedan was to show up in the dictionary, a picture of an E46 would probably be next to it. This is about as sedan as it gets. Simple lines, not busy, very clean. One of my favorite designs from BMW of all time, probably. It also has this big, dumb, goofy grin, which, you know, how can you not like that? The 330i also comes from a time when BMW model names actually meant something. The 30 means 3 liters, and this has a 3-liter straight 6, producing about 225 very, very smooth horsepower. Power goes to the back the way that God intended, through a manual transmission, and a neat fun fact about the 330i's is that they have valved exhaust. Look at that. This particular 330i is also in my favorite configuration, a 4-door sedan in a fairly unassuming color. Makes it easy to get your friends back here. Not that I have any, but the back seat is usable, if nothing else. The headliner is kind of friendly though. So if you want someplace to rest your arm in the back of an E46, you can put down the most plain, boring center console in the universe. There's like no extra cushion, no cup holders. It's just a thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, and if you really hate yourself, you can sit here in the middle, I think. Does this have a seat belt? Yes, there it is. Yep, that's a seat belt. They actually intend for someone to be able to sit here. My camera, what am I doing? Yeah, that's just not happening. I also love the tan leather because it doesn't get super hot when it's like 98 degrees out like it is right now and sunny. Actually tolerable. E46 actually features a fairly generous trunk, plenty of room for a subwoofer and a teal sunshade. And standard issue on all used E46s is half of a factory toolkit. That's wonderful. You've got a tow hook, 10, 8, 12, 13 millimeter, and a tire thingy, and none of whatever these were. Another one of my favorite BMW-isms is putting all the optional features on these unreasonably fancy, unnecessary plastic pins on the trunk. Like, yes, what does it have? I'll go check the trunk. Ah, yes, garage door opener, a CD player. Oh wait, pre-wired for. Not that it has it, just that it's pre-wired for a CD player and a phone and a security system. But it does have a garage door opener. That it actually has, not just wiring. Yeah, okay, sure. Just BMW things, I guess. Just found out some super sick E46 tricks I didn't know about. Flip this up and you've got the cutest little change holder ever. You can stick all of your coins in there, except they're just there anyways for some reason. Wait, quarters, nickels, and pennies. I guess dimes can just get lost for whatever reason. And you can also take out your entire cup holder so that you can wash out all the sadness that accumulates in the bottom. That's pretty neat. Oh, little bit of storage. Yep, enough for approximately 1 lighter and a screw. I get it. No dash lights except for the washer fluid, which is, yeah, I guess. I still love how these... In the early 2000s, everyone's obsessed with these stupid mile per gallon gauges that are pretty worthless. And shockingly cold AC. A whole bunch of buttons that don't work because aftermarket head unit. So a lot of people dab on these shifters, but honestly, it's very smooth. It's not notchy, it's just smooth and quick. And I quite like that, actually. But let's hit the road and see how she actually do. Out onto the road. Clutch feels pretty good. Got a decent engagement point. Oh, I love how smooth that is. Those straight sixes. That's one thing that I do really like about my IS300 is a straight six is just the way to go. The ergonomics here are highly questionable. Second, third, and sixth are so far back that I'm just slamming my elbow into the seat here. Does it heel toe?
Yeah, it does.
Sorta, yeah. Boy, those front shocks are blown. Mm-hmm. Other than that, though, this ride's very nice. There goes an E90 with a German flag decal on it and eyelids. Yeah, so the E90 is just... that's the one that I would truly call... That's the generation I would really call the last driver's car, but I don't like how they look as much. And the M3 had a V8 instead of a straight six, so it's just kind of not the same. It's got to have a straight six. The straight six is the thing. So between the 330i and the M3 was the ZHP package, which got you another 10 or 15 horsepower and slightly better handling. I've never driven one of those, but those are skyrocketing in value right now. If you're wanting one of those, or values of these are probably not going to be far behind that on that upward trajectory, get one now. I feel like these are going to start appreciating like absolute mad. Since 2 years ago when I was last looking, these have already gone from being $3,000, you know, dime a dozen cars to being 5 or 6 for a half decent one. Let's wrap it out a little bit. It could stand to be a little louder, but what a noise. Very symphonic.
No sixth.
Was I in? It's a 5-speed, not a 6-speed. Needs diff bushings. You hear that clunk? Wow. It feels good. It feels a good bit stiffer than my IS300 does. Even with the blown shocks, it's definitely more planted. Oh man, this definitely needs louder exhaust.
Yeah.
Every time I downshift, you can sort of hear it.
You can definitely tell it was an old man's car. Yeah, I really haven't done anything since I got it. yeah, tires aren't great. Everything in here feels pretty nice though, and all the interior is screwed together well enough. It's one of the things I was talking about with luxury cars that used to be heirloom quality versus these days when they're all just kind of disposable things to fill out your portfolio. One of my biggest qualms with modern luxury cars is the door pull. You gotta have a solid door pull. I got in an Infiniti M56, I think it was. That's like an $80,000 car, loaded. But when I went to shut the door, you could pull on the door handle and the whole door card would wiggle. Like a significant amount. And all the buttons were super wobbly and garbage. These don't move a bit. This is 173,000 mile, what is this, 20 years old now? 19-year-old, old enough to vote. And everything still feels better than a brand new $80,000 Infiniti. And that's just what luxury's become these days. It's disposable. It's completely shifted from what it used to be, and it makes me sad. Take a look at an old Benz from the 80s or 90s, and you've got cars that are still absolutely everywhere. But you know what you don't see? W220s. They're nowhere. And when they are, they're at a buy here, pay here lot with the ABC blown out and sitting on their bump stops with this price on them being the monthly payment, not how much it actually costs, because That's how buy here, pay here be. So while we sit here waiting for this train to pass, I'd just like to ruminate on a couple of the things that I really like. The 3-spoke steering wheel's great. I thought only the ZHP had the 3-spoke. I thought the ones that weren't had a 4-spoke, but I guess I'm probably wrong. The seats are fantastic. Lots of bolstering. It works for wider people. A lot of performance cars actually hug me, and I am tiny. And this actually works if you're not super tiny, so that's kind of cool. Are the bolsters adjustable? We've got memory positions, lumbar too, but it's different this time. Everything about it feels good at $173,000. It still feels quality, still feels sporty. Turns out this car is equipped with the Sport package, which isn't ZHP, but it's kind of that. It's got the steering wheel without the M badge, and it's got these seats, slightly different suspension, and a few other goodies. So that explains that. I wonder if that's also what the valved exhaust is. Brakes? Where are they at? I love how this has a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm like, that's brave. That's a lot of lean. There's stuff moving around. It's a lot of lean, but it still felt planted, and it wasn't wobbly.
Yeah.
And body roll's not always a bad thing. Yeah, it's not super fast, but that's pretty.
Yeah.
It's healthy. I mean, it's 225 horsepower and what are these, 3,500 pounds? That's an adequate power to weight. There goes the... And there goes again! Yeah, okay. That cup is having some fun. Okay, let's see here. Cruise control.
The cruise works.
And then set. Yes, that is how that works. One of my favorite features that this is the last generation that BMW had is the center stack being angled towards the driver. I love that stuff so much. The S2000 is sort of like that. I know a bunch of Nissans have all the controls up here. I love those weird super driver focus things. It's like, yeah, what does the passenger get? Nothing. They get one vent. That's all that's in front of them. They don't even get to look at the center stack. They're not worthy because they're not driving the car. I mean, BMW doesn't do that anymore. Now they're all just cars for flexing and taking a picture like this with your watch in front of the BMW logo and then posting it on Instagram with hashtag blessed and a bunch of these emojis. What's the horn sound like?
Press it.
Yep, it's a horn. Can confirm. Makes horn sounds. What else we got? We've got automatic climate control, auto reset of an Alpine radio that we can just ignore, auto dimming rear view mirror. Do we have auto headlights? Is that what this is? I do love rain sensing wipers. Oh, the temperature outside, gross, 91 degrees, don't like that.
No.
Fuel economy, 24, shockingly good. My IS300 gets like 17 mixed. Miles, tripometer? Miles left on the tank. Boy, they sure don't do a good job explaining what the stuff is. The only one of these that's really useful is the weather. It's also the dumbest thing, but I love the controls for the power mirrors because when you grab them, it's like you're targeting the missiles. You've got this joystick on the end of this big old door handle to wiggle around. It feels like an arcade game control. It's hysterical. It's a pretty simple, basic interior, and there's some lights over here that do light things. But it is functional, very German, and I like it. I'm very into the German sensibilities. So there we have it. The E46 330i is a fun, fairly affordable, balanced sports sedan that really stays true to that designation and can still be had for a fairly reasonable price if you look for one and make sure that it was maintained. A neglected BMW is an unhappy BMW, and you don't want to own an unhappy BMW. If you have one of these for sale that's been maintained, please hit me up because I really, really want one. I like it so much more than my Lexus Sport Cross, it's not even funny. And with that, I have angered the fanboys. Thank you for watching.